The urgent call in a galaxy far from Earth, an alien fleet was in grave trouble. This fleet, known as the Zorath Armada, was one of the most powerful in the galaxy. The Zorath were a proud and advanced species, but now they faced a disaster that no one could have foreseen. Their hyperspace drive had malfunctioned, and they were stranded in the middle of an uncharted region of space. The Zorath Armada had been exploring new frontiers when their drive failed. They had tried everything to fix it, but nothing worked. Now their ships were drifting slowly, and their supplies were running out. The Zorath knew that if they didn't get help soon, they would be lost. The problem was, they were in a part of space that was not well known, and no one knew they were in trouble. Desperation drove them to send a distress signal. It was a powerful signal, reaching out to any nearby civilizations. The message was clear and urgent. "Help us! We are stranded and need immediate assistance." The signal was broadcasted in all known frequencies, hoping that someone would hear it and come to their aid. The signal traveled across light years of space, eventually reaching a small outpost run by the United Earth Space Coalition, UESC. The outpost was a hub for interstellar communication and exploration. The staff there were skilled and experienced, often dealing with various space phenomena and emergencies. One of the junior technicians, Alex Rivera, was monitoring the signals when the distress call came through. Alex's eyes widened as he read the message. It was clear that this was no ordinary distress call. The Zorath Armada was a significant force, and their plea for help indicated a serious problem. Alex knew that this message would need to be taken seriously. He quickly alerted his superior, Commander Sarah Mitchell, who was known for her leadership and decision-making skills. Commander Mitchell reviewed the message and felt a sense of urgency. She knew that the Zorath were not just any alien species. They were well known across the galaxy for their strength and technological advancements. If they were in trouble, it meant something was seriously wrong. The commander decided to escalate the situation to the higher-ups. In the command center, the senior officers gathered for an emergency meeting. The room was filled with tension as they discussed the implications of the distress signal. Some were skeptical, wondering if it was a trap or a false alarm. Others argued that it was their duty to help. The debate was intense, but Commander Mitchell was determined to make the right decision. After a thorough discussion, the decision was made. The UESC would send a rescue mission to assist the stranded Zorath fleet. The mission would be led by Captain James Carter, a seasoned explorer known for his bravery and expertise in handling dangerous situations. Captain Carter was briefed on the situation and agreed to take on the mission without hesitation. Preparations began immediately. The rescue team, consisting of highly skilled engineers, scientists, and medics, was assembled. They worked around the clock to prepare their spacecraft, the Endeavor, for the journey. The crew knew that they were venturing into unknown territory and that the mission would be risky, but they were driven by a sense of duty and adventure. As the team prepared, news of the mission spread across the outpost. Many people were excited about the prospect of helping an alien species in need. There was a sense of pride and anticipation among the staff. The thought of making a difference in the galaxy and potentially forging a new alliance with the Zorath was thrilling. Meanwhile, the Zorath fleet continued to drift, their situation becoming increasingly dire. The alien crews were trying to stay hopeful, but the stress and uncertainty were taking their toll. The Zorath leaders held on to the hope that someone would come to their aid, and their faith was now pinned on the Earth-based rescue mission. As the Endeavor prepared for launch, Captain Carter and his team reviewed their plans and final checks. They knew the journey would be long and fraught with challenges, but they were determined to succeed. The crew gathered for a briefing where Captain Carter emphasized the importance of their mission and the need for teamwork and resilience. With everything ready, the Endeavor set off on its journey. The spacecraft entered hyperspace, leaving behind the familiar stars of the UESC outpost and heading towards the unknown regions where the Zorath fleet awaited. The crew was focused and ready for whatever lay ahead. The journey through hyperspace was smooth at first, but the team knew that the real challenges awaited them in the uncharted territory. They were prepared for anything, but the uncertainty of what lay ahead added to the excitement and tension of the mission. Back at the Zorath fleet, the situation was becoming more critical. The crew members were growing weary and their supplies were nearly depleted. The arrival of the rescue mission was their only hope for survival. As the humans traveled closer to their destination, both the Zorath and the UESC team braced themselves for the meeting that could change everything. The urgent call had been made, and now the response was underway. The fate of the stranded Zorath fleet rested in the hands of the brave human rescuers who were about to embark on a mission that would test their skills, courage, and determination. This was the beginning of a new chapter in intergalactic cooperation, where the efforts of a few brave individuals would make all the difference in the galaxy. Ready for action. The hum of activity at the United Earth Space Coalition UESC outpost was louder than ever. The decision to send a rescue mission to help the stranded Zorath fleet had stirred up a wave of excitement and urgency. The team was hard at work, preparing for a journey into unknown space. Every member of the crew had a role to play, and their dedication was evident in their swift and careful preparations. Captain James Carter stood at the command center, reviewing the final details of the mission. His experience as a space explorer had prepared him well for this moment, but he knew this mission was unlike any other. The Zorath were not just another alien race, they were powerful and advanced. Helping them could mean forming a crucial new alliance. It was a responsibility he took very seriously. Commander Sarah Mitchell joined Captain Carter, offering her support and final briefings. Captain Carter, I've gone over the latest updates. The Zorath fleet is drifting in a highly unstable region. We've received reports of potential space anomalies in that area. Be prepared for anything. Captain Carter nodded, his face set in determination. Understood, Commander. We'll be ready. Our main goal is to reach them as quickly and safely as possible. The team and I have been preparing for every possible scenario. As Captain Carter reviewed the mission plan, his crew busily finished their preparations. Engineers worked on the Endeavor systems, ensuring everything was in top condition. Medics stocked up on supplies, ready for any injuries or health issues that might arise. Scientists checked their equipment, preparing for any strange phenomena they might encounter. Among the crew was Lieutenant Mia Reynolds, a skilled engineer known for her problem-solving abilities. She was busy calibrating the ship's navigation system, making sure it could handle the unknown space they would soon be traveling through. Her focus was intense, knowing that even the smallest error could jeopardize the mission. Nearby, Dr. Robert Shaw, the chief scientist, was going over data from previous missions to understand the space anomalies they might face. This region has been poorly mapped, he explained to his team. We'll need to rely on our sensors to guide us through safely. Pay attention to any unusual readings. The medics, led by Nurse Lisa Chang, prepared medical kits and emergency supplies. We're equipped with the best technology for any situation, she assured her team. Let's hope we won't need to use it, but it's better to be prepared. The crew's camaraderie was evident. They shared jokes and stories, trying to ease the tension before their departure. There was a shared sense of purpose among them, and they knew that their efforts would make a significant impact on the lives of the stranded Zorath. As the countdown to launch approached, the atmosphere grew more focused. The crew gathered in the main briefing room for one last meeting. Captain Carter addressed them, his voice steady and encouraging. We are about to embark on a mission that could change the course of our history. We're not just going to rescue a fleet, we're showing the galaxy that humanity is ready to stand up and help when needed. Stay sharp, work together, and let's bring those Zorath home. The crew members nodded, their faces reflecting determination and confidence. They knew the challenges ahead would test them, but they were ready. The team had trained for many scenarios, and now they were about to put their skills to the ultimate test. With the final checks complete, the Endeavor was ready for launch. The ship, sleek and advanced, stood ready on the launch pad. The crew suited up in their space gear and took their places on the ship. The engines roared to life as the countdown began. The moment arrived, and the Endeavor lifted off, breaking through the atmosphere and heading into the vast expanse of space. Inside the ship, the crew settled into their roles, their eyes fixed on the monitors and controls. As they entered hyperspace, the familiar stars of their home galaxy faded, and the ship plunged into the unknown. The crew was silent, each person focused on their tasks. The ship's systems hummed smoothly, and the crew monitored their progress closely. Captain Carter kept a watchful eye on the navigation system, ensuring that they were on the correct course. "We're entering the uncharted region now," he announced. "Stay alert for any anomalies or unexpected obstacles." Lieutenant Reynolds worked alongside her team, making real-time adjustments to the ship's systems. "Everything's running smoothly so far," she reported. "We should be approaching the Zorath fleet's last known position shortly." Dr. Shaw and his team continued to scan for any unusual readings, their eyes darting between the various sensors and monitors. "No significant anomalies detected yet," he said, "but we need to remain vigilant. This area is full of unknowns." As the Endeavour traveled deeper into the uncharted space, the crew felt a mix of excitement and tension. They were venturing into territory that no human had explored before. Each moment brought them closer to their destination, and the anticipation grew. Back at the Zorath fleet, the situation remained critical. The Zorath leaders and crew anxiously awaited any sign of help. The distress signal had been their last hope, and now they could only wait and pray that the humans would arrive in time. The journey through hyperspace continued smoothly, but the crew knew that the real challenge lay ahead. They were prepared for whatever they might encounter, and their spirits were high. They were driven by the knowledge that their efforts could make a difference in the galaxy. As the Endeavour approached the Zorath fleet's location, the crew braced themselves for the upcoming encounter. The mission was far from over, and the true test of their skills and teamwork was just beginning. The fate of the stranded fleet rested on their shoulders, and they were ready to meet the challenge head-on. The space journey. The Endeavour was cruising smoothly through the vast expanse of hyperspace. Inside the ship, the crew was a picture of focused activity. Captain James Carter and his team were well prepared for the mission ahead. But the unknowns of space always brought an element of unpredictability. As they traveled deeper into uncharted territory, the crew knew that their journey was just beginning. Captain Carter sat in the command chair, his eyes fixed on the view screen ahead. The stars outside were streaks of light, a reminder of the speed at which they were traveling. The ship's systems hummed steadily, and the crew carried out their tasks with practiced efficiency. Despite the routine, a sense of anticipation filled the air. They were heading into an area that no human had explored before. Lieutenant Mia Reynolds, the ship's chief engineer, was busy at her console. Her fingers flew over the controls as she monitored the ship's systems. "All systems are functioning within normal parameters," she reported. "But we should stay alert. We're heading into uncharted space, and anything could happen." Dr. Robert Shaw, the chief scientist, was reviewing data on his monitors. "I'm seeing some minor fluctuations in the space-time readings," he said. "It might be nothing, but we should keep an eye on it. This area is known for its instability." Nurse Lisa Chang, the medical officer, checked the emergency medical supplies. "Everything's in order here," she said, ensuring that the medical kits were ready for any potential injuries. "Let's hope we don't need to use any of this, but it's good to be prepared." As the Endeavour continued its journey, the crew encountered their first challenge. A sudden jolt shook the ship, causing alarms to blare. The crew quickly sprang into action. Captain Carter's voice cut through the noise. "What's happening?" Lieutenant Reynolds quickly checked her instruments. "We've hit a minor spatial distortion. It's causing a temporary destabilization in our trajectory." Dr. Shaw analyzed the data. "This is likely due to the uncharted nature of this region. We need to adjust our course to compensate." The crew worked together to stabilize the ship. Reynolds adjusted the navigation controls, while Shaw made the necessary calculations to correct their course. The ship's systems gradually returned to normal, and the alarms fell silent. The crew exchanged relieved glances, knowing that this was just the beginning of their journey. As the Endeavour continued on its path, the crew faced several more challenges. They encountered a series of cosmic storms, each one more intense than the last. The storms sent powerful waves of energy through space, causing the ship to shake and shudder. The crew had to work quickly to shield the ship from the worst of the storm's effects. Lieutenant Reynolds monitored the ship's shields, making real-time adjustments to keep them stable. "We're taking heavy damage to the outer hull," she reported. "I'm rerouting power to reinforce the shields." Dr. Shaw continued to scan for any additional anomalies. "These storms are causing significant interference with our sensors," he said. We'll need to rely on visual observation as much as possible. Nurse Chang prepared the med bay, just in case the crew experienced any injuries from the turbulence. Everyone stay safe and alert, she advised. If anyone needs medical attention, I'm ready. The crew worked tirelessly to navigate through the storms. Their teamwork and expertise were put to the test as they faced each new obstacle. Despite the difficulties, they remained focused on their mission, determined to reach the stranded Zorath fleet. After hours of battling cosmic storms and spatial distortions, the Endeavor finally approached a more stable region of space. The storms began to dissipate, and the ship's systems slowly returned to normal. The crew took a moment to catch their breath and assess the damage. Captain Carter addressed the crew, his voice filled with gratitude. We've faced some tough challenges, but we've handled them well. We're getting closer to the Zorath fleet, and we need to stay sharp. We've come this far, and we can't afford to falter now. Lieutenant Reynolds nodded. The ship has held up well considering the conditions. We'll need to perform some repairs before we reach the Zorath fleet, but it's nothing we can't handle. Dr. Shaw continued to monitor the sensors. I'm picking up faint signals from the Zorath fleet. They're still in distress, but we're getting closer. Nurse Chang checked in with the crew, making sure everyone was in good health. Everyone's okay here, just a bit shaken up, but we're all ready to continue. With the immediate threats behind them, the crew focused on their approach to the Zorath fleet. The excitement of nearing their destination was palpable. They were determined to complete their mission and provide the help that the stranded Zorath desperately needed. As the Endeavor approached the final stretch of their journey, the crew prepared for the next phase of their mission. They reviewed their plans and discussed strategies for making contact with the Zorath. They knew that the real challenge was just ahead, and they were ready to face it. The journey through the unknown had tested their skills and resolve, but it had also strengthened their bond as a team. They were united in their purpose and committed to helping the Zorath fleet. The final leg of their journey was ahead, and they were ready to meet the challenge with courage and determination. Finding the fleet, the Endeavor drifted smoothly through space, the crew's faces bathed in the soft glow of the ship's control panels. After hours of battling cosmic storms and navigating uncharted regions, they were finally approaching the coordinates where the Zorath fleet was last reported. The journey had been long and challenging, but the crew's spirits remained high as they neared their destination. Captain James Carter stood at the command chair, his eyes fixed on the view screen ahead. The stars outside were becoming more distinct as they left the chaotic regions behind. He glanced at Lieutenant Mia Reynolds, who was focused on the ship's navigation systems. "Lieutenant Reynolds, how are we looking on the approach?" Captain Carter asked. Reynolds tapped her console. "We're getting close to the coordinates. The sensors are picking up faint signals, but the readings are still weak. It's possible the fleet is using some form of cloaking, or they might be in a condition that's affecting our sensors." Dr. Robert Shaw, the chief scientist, adjusted the sensors to their highest sensitivity. "I'm trying to enhance our sensor array to pick up any subtle signals. The Zorath are advanced, so it's possible they're using technology to mask their presence." The crew worked in silence, their focus intense. The ship's systems hummed steadily, and the occasional beep of the sensors provided the only sound. The tension was palpable as they approached the last known position of the Zorath fleet. Suddenly, the view screen flickered, and a series of faint, distorted images appeared. Dr. Shaw's eyes widened. "I'm detecting some irregularities. There are several objects ahead, but the readings are still unclear." Lieutenant Reynolds squinted at her console. "I'm seeing multiple ships in the area. It looks like we found the fleet, but they're not responding to our signals yet." Captain Carter nodded. "Prepare for visual contact. We need to make sure we're approaching them safely." The crew members worked quickly to prepare for the visual scan. The view screen cleared, revealing a scene of several large dark shapes drifting in space. The Zorath fleet was visible, but their condition was immediately apparent. The ships were heavily damaged, their hulls scarred and pitted from what looked like a long period of distress. "Are they moving?" Captain Carter asked. Dr. Shaw examined the data. "They're mostly stationary, but there are signs of minor movements. The fleet appears to be in a state of low power. They're likely struggling to maintain their systems." Nurse Lisa Chang prepared the med bay for potential casualties. "I'm ready to assist if we need to bring anyone on board." The Zorath might need medical attention. Captain Carter made the decision. Let's initiate contact with the Zorath fleet. We need to let them know we're here and ready to help. Lieutenant Reynolds transmitted a communication signal to the fleet. This is the rescue ship Endeavor from the United Earth Space Coalition. We've received your distress signal and have come to assist. Please respond. For a tense moment, there was no reply. The crew exchanged worried glances, but their hope remained strong. Then, a crackling transmission came through, garbled but recognizable. This is Fleet Commander Varric of the Zorath Armada. We are grateful for your arrival. We are in critical condition. Please come aboard. Captain Carter's face relaxed into a smile of relief. We've made contact. Prepare for docking procedures. Lieutenant Reynolds, initiate a docking approach. Reynolds adjusted the controls, and the Endeavor moved carefully towards the Zorath fleet. The damaged ships floated in space like silent sentinels, their once powerful forms now looking battered and forlorn. As they approached, the crew could see the extent of the damage. The Zorath ships had suffered significant impacts, and some had large breaches in their hulls. The sight was a stark reminder of the gravity of their situation. Captain Carter directed the crew. Prepare for docking. We need to establish a safe connection and begin assessing the situation immediately. The docking process was slow and meticulous. The crew of the Endeavor worked with precision to ensure that the connection was secure. The air was filled with a mix of relief and apprehension as they completed the docking procedures. The airlock doors of the Endeavor opened, and Captain Carter led the way with a team of engineers and medics. The team prepared to board the Zorath ships, ready to provide assistance and assess the damage. As they entered the first Zorath ship, they were greeted by the sight of weary but relieved Zorath crew members. The alien faces showed a mix of gratitude and exhaustion. Fleet Commander Varric approached, his demeanor reflecting both authority and relief. "Welcome aboard," Commander Varric said, his voice strained but sincere. "We are in your debt. The damage to our fleet is extensive and our supplies are nearly depleted. We need your help urgently." Captain Carter nodded. "We're here to help. We'll assess the damage, provide necessary repairs, and ensure that your crew gets the medical attention they need." The Zorath fleet's condition was indeed dire. The crew of the Endeavor quickly got to work, setting up repair stations and medical units. Engineers began evaluating the damage, while medics treated injured Zorath crew members. As the rescue operation unfolded, the crew of the Endeavor felt a deep sense of purpose. They were making a real difference, and their efforts were bringing hope to those in need. The mission was far from over, but the first critical step had been accomplished. The Endeavor had found the Zorath fleet and begun the process of aiding them. The journey through uncharted space had led to this moment of relief and action, and the crew was ready to continue their mission with determination and resolve. Working together, the Endeavor and the Zorath fleet were now in a state of cooperative urgency. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the focused chatter of both human and Zorath engineers. Captain James Carter, Lieutenant Mia Reynolds, and their crew worked alongside the Zorath to assess and repair the damage inflicted on their fleet. Captain Carter met with Fleet Commander Varric in the Zorath command ship's control room. The room was dimly lit with holographic displays flickering and a faint hum from the damaged systems. "We've got a good team working on your repairs," Carter said, "but we need to prioritize the most critical systems first. What's the status of your power and life support systems?" Varric's eyes, though tired, were filled with determination. "Our primary power sources are critically damaged. We have some backup systems, but they are failing rapidly. Our life support systems are barely functional. We need immediate assistance to stabilize these systems, or we risk losing the entire fleet." Captain Carter nodded. "We'll start with the power systems. Lieutenant Reynolds, let's coordinate with their engineers and see what we can do." Lieutenant Reynolds and her team moved swiftly to join the Zorath engineers. The integration was seamless, as both teams quickly adapted to each other's working styles. Reynolds assessed the damage to the power systems, while Zorath engineers provided crucial details about the failures. The Zorath engineers were skilled and knowledgeable, but the extent of the damage required more hands. Reynolds and her team worked on recalibrating power relays and repairing conduit systems. Sparks flew and alarms blared intermittently as they worked, but the progress was steady. Dr. Robert Shaw, the chief scientist, set up a temporary medical bay in one of the Zorath ships. He and Nurse Lisa Chang provided medical attention to injured Zorath crew members. Shaw meticulously examined and treated each patient, while Chang made sure the medical supplies were organized and ready for use. The Zorath crew, though initially reserved, began to show signs of relief as the human medics worked. They were grateful for the care and attention they received. Some Zorath, feeling more at ease, started assisting in the medical bay, offering their help with minor tasks and sharing knowledge about their own physiology. Meanwhile, the ship's atmosphere was filled with a cooperative spirit. Engineers from both sides worked side by side, discussing problems, sharing tools, and offering advice. It was a rare sight, different species, united by a common goal. As the hours passed, significant progress was made. The primary power systems were partially restored, and the life support systems were stabilized. The Zorath ships, once dark and silent, now had their lights flickering back on, a sign of hope for the stranded fleet. Captain Carter took a moment to survey the progress. He was impressed by the dedication and teamwork of both his crew and the Zorath. They had managed to achieve more in a few hours than he had hoped for. "Good work, everyone," Carter said, addressing both his crew and the Zorath engineers. "We've made great progress, but there's still a lot to do. Let's keep up the momentum and get these ships back to full operational status." Lieutenant Reynolds agreed. "We're making headway, but we need to focus on ensuring the stability of these repairs. If we rush, we might cause more problems than we solve." Dr. Shaw continued his work in the medical bay, attending to the remaining injured Zorath. He worked closely with Zorath medical personnel, exchanging techniques and learning more about their advanced medical practices. It was a mutual exchange of knowledge that benefited both sides. In the control room, Commander Varric expressed his gratitude. "Your help has been invaluable. We have never encountered such a situation before. The cooperation between our peoples has been a beacon of hope." Captain Carter smiled. "We're here to help, and we're committed to seeing this through. We'll continue working together until your fleet is fully operational." As the day wore on, the efforts of both teams began to show tangible results. The Zorath fleet started to regain its strength, and the immediate danger of total system failure was averted. The crew of the Endeavor and the Zorath engineers shared a moment of relief as they took stock of their achievements. The cooperation between the humans and the Zorath was more than just a successful rescue operation. It was a testament to what could be accomplished when different species worked together with a common purpose. The shared experience fostered a deeper understanding and respect between them. Captain Carter and Commander Varric met again to discuss the next steps. "We've made a significant impact today," Carter said. "What's the situation with your fleet's long-term recovery?" Varric nodded. "We'll need additional repairs and supplies, but the immediate crisis is under control. We'll continue to work with your engineers and maintain this newfound partnership." Captain Carter extended his hand. "It's a start. We'll do everything we can to support your recovery." As the Endeavor continued its efforts, the crew and the Zorath fleet began to work towards a new understanding. They had come together in a time of crisis and forged a bond that went beyond mere cooperation. The journey was far from over, but the progress they had made was a promising beginning. With the power systems restored and the immediate threats managed, the crew of the Endeavor and the Zorath looked forward to the future with renewed hope. The collaboration they had achieved was a powerful example of what could be accomplished when different worlds came together in a spirit of unity and mutual support. Facing challenges, the Endeavor and the Zorath fleet were making progress, but the situation was far from resolved. As the repairs continued, new challenges emerged. The Zorath fleet, while stabilizing, faced additional problems that required immediate attention. Captain James Carter and his crew were determined to see the mission through, no matter the obstacles. In the command center of the Zorath flagship, Captain Carter and Lieutenant Mia Reynolds reviewed the latest status reports. The ship's systems were more stable, but there were still issues that needed urgent solutions. "Captain Carter," Reynolds said, pointing to the console, "we've detected a malfunction in one of the secondary power relays. It's causing intermittent failures in some of the critical systems. We need to address it before it causes a bigger problem. Captain Carter nodded. Let's get a team over there immediately. We can't afford any more setbacks. As Reynolds prepared to deploy a repair team, Dr. Robert Shaw approached with a concerned look. Captain, we've encountered a problem in the medical bay. Some of the Zorath medical equipment is malfunctioning. It's affecting our ability to provide effective treatment. Captain Carter frowned. Understood. Let's coordinate with the engineers to resolve this issue as well. We need to ensure that the medical bay is fully functional. The crew of the Endeavor and the Zorath engineers sprang into action. The repair team headed towards the secondary power relay, while another group focused on fixing the medical equipment. In the power relay chamber, the team faced a complicated array of damaged components. Sparks flew as they worked to replace faulty parts and rewire connections. The Zorath engineers assisted with their advanced knowledge, guiding the team through the complex repairs. "Watch out for that conduit!" shouted one of the Zorath engineers. "It's unstable and could short out if not handled carefully." Lieutenant Reynolds, working alongside the Zorath engineers, kept her focus sharp. "We need to bypass the damaged section and reroute the power. Let's get this done quickly." The team worked with urgency, their hands moving swiftly to stabilize the failing systems. The Zorath engineers showed great skill, but the complexity of the damage made the repairs challenging. The situation was tense, but the combined effort of both teams helped them make steady progress. Meanwhile, in the medical bay, Dr. Shaw and Nurse Lisa Chang worked to diagnose and fix the malfunctioning equipment. The Zorath medical staff, though unfamiliar with some human technology, were eager to assist. They exchanged knowledge and adapted their practices to the new tools. Dr. Shaw adjusted a control panel while Chang organized medical supplies. "We need to recalibrate these machines to get accurate readings. Let's make sure we have everything we need for proper treatment." One of the Zorath medical staff, a tall alien with a keen eye, offered assistance. "I can help with recalibration. We have similar systems on our ships, and I'm familiar with the adjustments needed." Together, they worked to repair the medical equipment. The Zorath medical staff's knowledge of their own systems, combined with the human crew's expertise in technology, made the repairs more effective. Back in the command center, Captain Carter monitored the progress reports. The situation was improving, but the crew faced additional challenges. The Zorath fleet's food and water supplies were running low, and the remaining resources were not sufficient for a long-term recovery. "We need to address the supply issue," Captain Carter said to Commander Varric. "Do you have any alternative resources or nearby allies who can provide assistance?" Varric's expression was troubled. "We have some contacts in the nearby star systems, but they are not equipped to handle our immediate needs. We're working on long-range communications to request aid." Captain Carter thought for a moment. "We might be able to assist with supplies from the Endeavor. We have some reserve stock that could help in the short term. I'll arrange for a transfer." The Endeavor crew prepared to transfer supplies to the Zorath fleet. The operation involved careful coordination to ensure that the food and water were delivered safely and efficiently. The crew worked quickly to load the supplies into cargo pods and transport them to the Zorath ships. As the supplies were delivered, the Zorath fleet's situation began to improve. The additional resources provided much-needed relief and boosted morale among the Zorath crew members. They expressed their gratitude with a mix of relief and hope. Captain Carter and Commander Varric met again to discuss the ongoing efforts. "We've made significant progress, but there's still more to be done," Carter said. "Our cooperation has proven effective, and we need to continue working together." Varric nodded in agreement. "Your support has been crucial. We are in a better position now, but we need to keep up the efforts until we are fully operational." The cooperation between the Endeavor crew and the Zorath fleet had turned a dire situation into a hopeful recovery. The challenges they faced were daunting, but their combined efforts had made a significant impact. Each obstacle they overcame brought them closer to a full resolution. As the repairs continued and supplies were replenished, both the humans and the Zorath grew more confident in their shared mission. The partnership had strengthened, and the once-stranded fleet was on the path to recovery. Captain Carter, looking out at the repaired Zorath ships, felt a sense of accomplishment. The journey had been difficult, but the resilience and cooperation of both teams had made it possible. They had faced numerous challenges, but they had done so together, forging a bond that would endure beyond the immediate crisis. With renewed determination, the Endeavor and the Zorath fleet continued their efforts, knowing that their combined strength and unity would see them through to a successful resolution. A new beginning as the days passed. The Zorath fleet and the Endeavor crew worked tirelessly to overcome the challenges they faced. The repairs were nearly complete, and the cooperation between the humans and the Zorath had grown stronger with each passing hour. The once stranded fleet was now on the verge of becoming fully operational again. In the command center of the Zorath flagship, Captain James Carter and Lieutenant Mia Reynolds stood side by side with Commander Varric. The room was bustling with activity as engineers, medics, and crew members from both sides worked together to finalize the repairs. "Captain Carter, Lieutenant Reynolds," Varric said with a relieved expression, "the repairs are almost done. We've managed to restore most of our critical systems, and our fleet is nearly ready to resume its journey." Captain Carter smiled. "That's excellent news. Your fleet has made incredible progress, and it's been an honor working with you." Reynolds, still focused on her console, nodded. "We've faced many challenges, but our teamwork has been the key to our success. We should be able to finish up in the next few hours." The mood was one of cautious optimism. The Zorath crew, once anxious and uncertain, now displayed a sense of hope and camaraderie. They were grateful for the assistance they had received and eager to continue their journey. As the final repairs were completed, the Zorath fleet's flagship, a massive vessel adorned with intricate designs and glowing symbols, came to life. The ship's systems hummed with renewed energy, and its lights illuminated the dark void of space. It was a symbol of recovery and resilience. In the medical bay, Dr. Robert Shaw and Nurse Lisa Chang conducted final checks on the remaining patients. The once overwhelmed medical facilities were now well organized and functional. The Zorath who had received treatment showed signs of recovery, and their gratitude was evident. Dr. Shaw approached one of the Zorath patients, a young alien with a relieved expression. "How are you feeling today?" The Zorath, though still weak, managed a smile. "Thank you for your care. We would not have made it without your help. Your knowledge and compassion have been invaluable," Nurse Chang added. "We're glad to see you recovering. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask." With the medical situation under control, the focus shifted to preparing for the fleet's departure. Captain Carter and Commander Varric met once more to discuss the next steps. "We're almost ready to leave," Varric said. "But before we do, I want to express my gratitude to you and your crew. Your assistance has been beyond what we could have expected." Captain Carter nodded. "It's been a privilege to help. We've built a strong partnership, and I'm confident it will continue to grow." Varric's eyes were filled with a mix of appreciation and hope. "Our experience together has shown us the strength of cooperation. We faced a crisis, but we emerged stronger and more united. This is just the beginning of what we can achieve together." As the Zorath fleet prepared to resume its journey, the Endeavor crew joined their allies on the bridge of the flagship. The vastness of space stretched out before them, a reminder of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Captain Carter stood beside Commander Varric at the helm of the flagship. "We're ready to assist you with any future needs," Carter said. "Our partnership doesn't end here. We're committed to supporting each other as we explore the stars." Varric extended a hand in friendship. "Thank you, Captain. Let this be the start of a lasting alliance. We have learned much from each other, and together we can face whatever challenges the galaxy throws at us." As the Zorath fleet began its journey once more, the crew of the Endeavor watched with a sense of accomplishment. The once stranded fleet was now on its way to its destination, stronger and more resilient than before. The shared experience had forged a bond between the two species, one that would endure beyond this mission. Lieutenant Reynolds reflected on the journey. "It's amazing to see how far we've come. We faced so many challenges, but we worked together to overcome them. It's a reminder of what we can achieve when we support each other." Captain Carter agreed. "This mission has been a testament to the power of collaboration. We've learned that even in the darkest moments, there is always hope if we stand together." The Zorath fleet, now fully operational and ready for its voyage, moved steadily through space. The lights of the flagship glowed brightly, a beacon of hope and unity. The journey ahead was filled with uncertainty, but the strength of their partnership gave them confidence. As the Endeavour and the Zorath fleet parted ways, the crew members exchanged waves and smiles. The sense of camaraderie was palpable, and the promise of future cooperation lingered in the air. Captain Carter and his crew returned to their ship, proud of what they had accomplished. They had faced a formidable challenge and emerged victorious, not just through their own efforts, but through the power of working together. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, reflecting the hope and possibility that lay ahead. The universe was vast and full of unknowns, but with their newfound allies and the strength of their shared experience, the crew of the Endeavour looked forward to the adventures that awaited them. The journey had been a difficult one, but it had led to a new beginning. The partnership between the humans and the Zorath was just starting, and the promise of future cooperation filled them with anticipation. The universe was open to exploration, and together they were ready to face whatever lay beyond the horizon.